This is probably one of the most asked questions about walking 10,000 steps. How long does it take? And I think most of us come into this fitness challenge of 10,000 steps a day, and that's probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks. Is it just feels like it's going to take forever. Recently, a senior editor of Newsweek magazine saw an earlier video that I did about walking 20,000 steps every day for more than 2 years and the 5 things I learned. And he asked if I'd be willing to turn that into an article for Newsweek. I said, sure, that'd be great. And so that came out on January 28th. And apparently a lot of folks saw that. Many commented, including someone who was skeptical about 20,000 steps and how long that takes. And because of that, because of how long it takes, I couldn't really have walked it every day for 2.5 years. And I understand the skepticism. I do. I really do. But I'm going to answer the question about how long it takes to walk 10,000 steps every day. And then I'm also going to talk about a little filter change that I had, an attitude adjustment, a different way of looking at it that was a real game changer for me, and maybe it will be for you. Hi, I'm Dave. If you're new to this channel, I have a daily podcast, Walking is Fitness. It's 10 minutes every day that I record while I'm out walking, much like I am right now. It's a helpful podcast if you're considering getting started walking for fitness and you have a hard time sticking with exercise, sticking with fitness. This daily podcast adds a little added motivation to help you get out the door and to keep going, even on those days when you don't feel like it. All right, so let's get to the math of walking 10,000 steps every day. And obviously we're going to speak in averages. For some, it'll be less than this. For some, it'll be a little bit more, but this is on average how long it takes. 1 hour and 40 minutes. If you're walking 10,000 steps a day, on average, you're walking for 1 hour and 40 minutes. But there's more to it than simply the hour and 40 minutes. And you might hear that and go, I don't have 1 hour and 40 minutes to go for a walk. Well, I understand that. Very few do, at least to get started. But most of us don't start at zero, with 0 steps. So we don't have to find 1 hour and 40 minutes in our daily schedule to get 10,000 steps. Again, we're talking averages here. The average amount of steps, and I've seen different numbers, but this tends to be kind of in the middle of these different averages. The average person is moving about 4,000 steps a day without any intentionality, without any idea of turning this into a fitness activity. 4,000 steps. So that would be going to the grocery store, walking from the car to the house, walking around the house, at work, the car to work, whatever you do at work, 4,000 steps each day. So if you already are getting 4,000 steps, to reach 10,000, you need to add 6,000 to that. So that's now 1 hour of walking. Finding time to walk 1 hour a day. And still, for most people, that's an awful lot. That actually can be a bit of a game changer to walk 1 hour a day, to find 1 hour a day to walk. In fact, I believe that that's probably one of the biggest roadblocks to exercise and to fitness. You know, I've seen these surveys, these polls, these questions, why aren't you exercising? What's keeping you from pursuing exercise and from pursuing fitness? Usually, one of the top 2 answers is, I don't have time. No time. Life's too busy. My calendar, my schedule is just too crazy. I just don't have the time to exercise. And there's also a little bit more to it than simply, I don't have the time. The unspoken part of that is, I don't want to. Exercise is not fun. So you're asking me to find a chunk of time, maybe 30 minutes, 60 minutes every day to do something that I don't want to do, that isn't fun, and I have to give up something that perhaps I enjoy to do this. You know, maybe it's time spent watching videos or scrolling or reading. It could even be something good, but it's usually something we enjoy doing. And we're being asked to give up that thing we enjoy for something that we don't enjoy. So it makes that time commitment feel even heavier. I don't have an hour to walk every day, which is why 10,000 steps is a terrible starting goal, because most of us aren't going to have an hour a day that we're willing to do that. Oh, sure, you could go out on the first day when you're all excited and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk 6,000 steps. I'm going to take a walk for an hour, add it to the 4,000 I'm normally getting, and there's my 10,000 wahoo me. I think most of us could do that, but it's the idea of doing it every single day that becomes the challenge. So, how long does it take to walk 10,000 steps? For the entire amount, about an hour and 40 minutes. Now, a while ago, I looked at this from a slightly different angle. So, an hour and 40 minutes to walk 10,000 steps, and quick math on as I'm walking off the top of my head for 20,000 steps. Remember that commenter to the article was doubtful that I was telling the truth because of how long it would take. So that's 3 hours and 20 minutes to walk 20,000 steps, which is a lot. It is a lot. But at some point while I was doing that, while I was walking those 20,000 steps, I also thought, okay, well, if I'm walking 3 hours and 20 minutes, that means I'm not walking more than 21 hours a day. 21 hours a day, I'm either sitting or sleeping, of course. I'm not moving more than 21 hours a day. And for me, that kind of changed the equation. It's not like, oh, I don't have the time to do this. It became more, that much sitting, that much non-movement, that can't be really healthy. And so that perspective helped me to shift the way I looked at walking 20,000 steps and 10,000 steps, an hour and 40 minutes, or really it's about finding an hour a day to move, to walk. But again, that's really, really, really hard to start and maintain at the beginning. Instead, I recommend that you start small and that you think long. Start with a 10-minute walk every day. You can use Walking is Fitness, the podcast that I record while I'm out walking. We can walk together. And as you build that 10 minutes into your daily schedule, you can then go 20 minutes. And do that until that becomes normal and it becomes part of what you do every day. And then you can go to 30 minutes. And then maybe as you continue to increase how much you're walking, instead of looking at it as an hour a day, maybe it's 2 30-minute walks a day or 3 20-minute walks a day. One in the morning, one at lunchtime, and then one later in the day after work, in the evening if it's warm enough. So that's how you reach 10,000 steps, and that's how long it takes to walk 10,000 steps. 1 hour and 40 minutes. Again, we're talking averages here.